Happy October, everybody, and welcome back. We're not going to be playing Micro Chapbook RPG today, although what I am doing is inspired by something that I read in the Advanced Character Guide. So, whilst I was studying this, I'm studying the rules because I do want to do this eventually. But I came across the entry for humans. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, okay. If it'll focus. Okay, it says humans are easily the most despised race, and for good reason. They used to be a dominant race in the land, lording with power and wealth over others. They were responsible for waging war upon the orcs and driving them out. However, wars, greed, and malice among their own ranks drove them nearly to extinction. Now humans rarely have tribes to call their own. They may rely on family, but most are forced to live a life of solitude among other races. And then it gives some bonuses for them, which are pretty good. So this gave me an idea. Now, I am a big human fan, so of course, a part of me took complete umbrage to the way they were described, but it gave me a great idea for a solo campaign, and that's where we're going to be picking up. So we're actually going to be playing this campaign in Warlock, mainly because I have had the worst itch in the world to play Warlock. Every time I look at the books on my shelf, I'm like, man, those could be doing some serious work on the table. And right now, my group isn't playing Warlock, and I really want to. So that's what we're gonna do. I've already generated a character, and I'll talk a little bit about him now. Of course, as usual, I love to play necromancers, and I started playing a necromancer character in a warlock game before, but I figured I would give it a try from sort of a different angle. Normally, if I want to play a necromancer, I'll play Lorque. This is not Lorque, although I'm probably going to be using the same mini for him, just because it makes it a great kind of dark mage looking character. No, instead, we're playing a fella named Morn Fenn. Uh, Now, Morn Fenn grew up as part of a kind of a disgraced noble house of humans. If there was one word that would define his life, it is decay. He's watched his people fade to a shadow of their former selves. He's watched his family fall to ruin, with the exception of uh, really just his house and his immediate family, who now are either imprisoned or dead. He's watched the world around them turn their backs on humanity and demonize them. Though he had no part to play in the destruction of the world around him, he is demonized for his heritage. And so one day, as he was spending his solitary childhood in pursuit of this all-consuming obsession that is decay, as the world around him fell to ruin, something in him awoke. You see, he lives in a relatively large city, and in this city are great kind of waterways and cisterns. When he was young and he was playing with, I wouldn't really call them friends, some of the younger elven and dwarven children in this city. He doesn't know any other humans here, as far as he knows. He and his family are the only ones. Whether by cruel prank or unhappy accident, he doesn't know, but he fell headfirst into one of these cisterns and nearly drowned. In fact, to this day he believes he did. However, if he did drown and die, he didn't stay dead for very long because he awoke somewhere somewhere down further in the cistern, and with some difficulty swam to safety. It was this accident that actually awoke in him some innate sorcery. That is a trait, not a trait. That's a talent that I rolled for him from I think it's Compendium 2. which gave him the ability to tap into the life force of others. And of course, this has little use other than to cause pain and destroy. But it's a magic that he unlocked either way. So he has the negative drain spell in addition to his starting spell. Thus kicked off his greater obsession, and that was revivification and reanimation. I have a custom career on Morn. Morn is a tomb haunter. It has minor skills in blunt and stealth, and major skills in history, incantation, and medicine. His beginning equipment is a shovel, anatomical charts, and a grimoire, along with the summon dead spell. And aside from that, he also has the typical starting equipment that every character gets. He became completely obsessed with the dichotomy of life and death, and in particular, what lie in between. This would eventually lead to his greater goal, seeing humanity crumbling and scattering to the four winds. A dream awoke in him, really. So this has to do with some of the traits that I rolled for him. So in the Compendium 2, you have passions. You have a negative passion and you have a positive passion. His negative passion is fear. Fenn is tormented by fear and despair that his people, and ultimately him, will fade to nothing and disappear, their legacy left to rot in forgotten places of the world where thriving human cities once were, now are festering ruins. However, the positive passion that I rolled for him is loyalty. Fenn is governed by loyalty to those who would call him friend, and to his own people, humanity, whom he feels great sympathy for. This awoke in him the dream to revive his people and bring them back to their former glory. He expects there to be pushback on this, quite a bit of pushback, really. And so he engages in his crusade in secret. In secret, he has been studying necromancy and other black magics, for though they are forbidden in most societies, they possess great power. And if Fenn is to lead his people back to their former glory and set them back up where they ought to be, he will need a lot of power indeed. And so begins his quest, starting with goal number 1, acquire power. Now, there's a couple ways he can go about this, and I think we're going to roll on it. Fenn is magically minded. He wants to acquire personal power first, I think. And that is because if he is going to be a strong leader, he must first be strong. He wants to be a pillar of strength and hope to a dying humanity, and to do that, he has to become stronger. His simple 2 spells and his old heirloom mace aren't really going to accomplish much on their own. So we are going to roll to see what he's going to do, and I'm going to do this using Compendium 2 because it has some pretty sweet story prompts. And so we're going to roll how our campaign is going to begin. And so thank you, Noah Patterson. We are engaging on a campaign. Next time, I promise it will be in your micro chatbook RPG. I just wanted something with a bit more flexibility and a little bit more bite. So we're doing it with Warlock for now. Maybe once I get some... Noah has some really, really nice pre-written adventures that I haven't purchased yet, but based on what I've heard about them, they're real good. And it'd be interesting to redo this campaign in Micro Chatbook RPG, but following those pre-written campaigns and seeing how powerful Fenn can get before he either goes crazy or dies. All right, so let's go ahead and roll this first story prompt. So here we are. We have the Warlock Compendium 2, and we're going to do an adventure generator. You ready? We also have our trusty Necromancer dice, because of course we do. I'm the most predictable person in the universe. So it says roll 1d6 twice. The first role is the primary adventure type. The second role is the secondary focus. And re-roll if the same result occurs. Okay, so the first type, we rolled a 5. What is this? Intrigue. Something or someone is moving directly against the player characters or those they love. They must uncover their opponent before all is lost. And second is a 1. Action. There will be many action scenes, chases, combat, and all manner of related escapades. That sounds really cool. So somebody's moving directly against Morn Fenn. And I imagine that is because that has something to do with our goal, which we will generate. So we're also going to generate the location. I'm quite sure this should take place in the city, but depending on where, let's just roll for it. Where is this going to take place? 5. Underground. Dark, dismal underground awaits the player characters. That says twice as well. So first roll is primary. So primarily this is underground. Secondarily, this is in the city. Oh my gosh, we're like in an undercity. That sounds freaking cool. The villain. Who's the villain of okay, so I wanted to go over something kind of interesting. What I've described so far with Morn Fenn actually sounds kind of like a villain. He is a necromancer. He's driven by something that most people in this world would consider bad. I don't think they would like him reviving human civilization. I almost kind of count him as a villain in his own right, but then again, what are the heroes but the villain's villain? So I don't know. It might be kind of interesting to roll our own villain's goal. I might do that just for fun. Here we go. 1d6. That's a 5. Just for fun, what would we be doing? Magic. A quest for I'm not kidding. I rolled a 5. It says magic. In a quest for power, the villain seeks to unearth magical powers long forgotten or fettered by more clear-minded magicians. That's literally our goal. Morn Fenn, you naughty person. You're a villain now. No, you're a hero. You use really questionable means, right? Totally. I mean, obviously, if we're a villain type, says we're a necromancer, cruel master or mistress of death. A foul necromancer manipulates all for their dark designs. Our dark designs of making a better world for humans. We're so bad. All right. So we don't really have to roll for that. Let's roll for our story hook. Okay. So our quest is obviously for magic power. So we're going to roll a d6 for our story hook. And we're going to see how we stumbled across this information as to where this magical power would be. And I have an idea for the type of spell he would want to learn. There are several series of spells in the compendium that are very powerful but have really big drawbacks. And I think that's the kind of power he's looking for, just brute strength. He's unconcerned with the side effects immediately. So let's see what we got here. We roll the 4. A coincidence. Some seemingly random incident serves to draw the characters into a plot. Perhaps they look like someone. A seemingly random coincidence that draws them into pursuit of power. I don't think it would be random. Honestly, I think it's number 2 instead of 4. The adventurer actively seeks to pursue their own goal, which brings them into conflict with the villain and their forces. So he has, through his own research, discovered this magical spell or artifact that's going to help him accomplish his aims. And this draws him into conflict with someone who is either trying to destroy that magic or has somehow discovered what his ultimate goals are. Now, let's see. What would it be? So this is going to be how he's going to be acquiring this magical MacGuffin, and we're going to roll a d6, and we're going to try and bend it towards what we have in mind. That's a 6. Wealth. Money makes the world go round, and completing the scenario is going to make everyone rich. I don't feel like that's... I said I would try and bend it towards it. Let's see. Wealth. Morn Fenn has more or less abandoned his family estate. I mean, he was really the only one living there, and he's learned everything he can. He's sort of a self-styled adventurer right now, lying low and mixing in with the typical adventurer types. It's possible that he's accepted a job to scour the undergrounds for a treasure trove that's going to make his employer rich. What his employer doesn't know is that this treasure trove, Morn Fenn already knows about it and just needed the directions to get there. Maybe that's the coincidence from before. He was already looking for how to find this treasure trove, and his employer knows where it is. In fact, here's a map. Morn Fenn has every intention of concealing this magical MacGuffin from his employer and taking it for himself. He's not really interested in any extra riches right now. First and foremost, he needs power. Yeah, I think that's it. I'm liking that. Look how deep this has already gotten. I love random roll charts like this. It's like it makes me so happy. Okay, complications. It's never as easy as it looks. So what is suddenly standing in the player's way? So this is something that this is going to be kind of like related to the people or person trying to stop him. Who we can sort of work in along the way. It's important that we know this beforehand so that if some of our rolls go squiffy, we will know who or what to blame. So here we go. Number 2, betrayal. You have to know who to trust, and it turns out the person or organization must not be trusted. Let's see. So someone betrays him. We can roll up who this person is later, but there is someone who he thought was friendly. They might have somehow discovered what he was attempting to do, and they don't like that very much. So we'll have to think that up later. Oh. Roll a d6 3 times to generate the result from each table and pick one. Okay, I like that. So the first one is betrayal. Either he gets betrayed by somebody. Table number 2. That's 1. Increased monster activity in the area, perhaps linked to the villain, makes travel much more hazardous. Okay. And how about number 3? Number 3 is a 3. A third party intervenes with own agenda, seemingly out of the blue. Now the party has another faction to deal with. I like that a lot more. Just a third party intervening with their own agenda. Somebody else knows about this treasure trove. You can't see the whole book on there. Somebody else knows about this treasure trove. And they're aiming to get it. They probably still know something about Morn Fenn. The one of the few humans in the city suddenly becoming an adventurer and abandoning what was once a fairly nice estate is going to draw the attention of the people who know about them. So I imagine somebody out there is trying to directly thwart Morn Fenn. Gripping climax. Now, I don't know what we're going to do with this information right now. Maybe we should roll it later, but I kind of want to roll it just to see what we get, and we'll decide. We roll a 5. Revelation, a great mystery that has run throughout the scenario, is solved, and all that was cloudy is now revealed. I really like that. I can't do anything with that right now, but I would really like to keep that for later. Is there anything else? Sinister cults of the kingdom and factions. Okay. So we mentioned that there was a faction moving against Morn Fenn. And I would really like to determine who these guys are. Now, I know these aren't going to line up exactly with our homebrew setting because these are from the default setting of Warlock. But I would really like to... I'd really like to figure out who's moving against us. So we're going to roll 1d6 to see which faction is involved in our scenario. We rolled a 3. The Red King. Vicious followers of the Red King, knives in hand, are mixed up in the affair. I don't know who the Red King and his goons are in this particular story, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Items of interest. So this will be the thing that this could be the thing that we're looking for. We're rolling. Okay, we're going to be rolling 2d6 and we're going to choose which one we like. So the first one is 2. A key to a Wrecker Lord's vault in the Westerland. And that's 3. The skull of Sir Percival the Mad. I like that. So there's actually a skull that has some life still in it, almost like some kind of intelligent undead that's just hanging out under the city. And background events. What's going on here? I know, again, this is just kingdom stuff, but... 3. Something is delaying ships from Far Hussein. And the cost of pepper in this kingdom is skyrocketing, leading to occasional violence in the streets of Fair Mariness and a crisis for the kingdom's pie masters. Interesting. Yeah, that's really cool. So, I think we have the outline of our story, and now we just need to begin. So let me lay some stuff out, and we will begin our scenario. I'm really excited to see where this goes. All right. So in secret, before he descends into the undercity, Morn Fenn makes his way to a disused graveyard and has performed the rite of reanimation. He's going to be casting Summon Dead before the adventure, taking great care to do so. By the roll of a d6, he's actually managed to summon 5 skeletons and retain control over them. So he's not going down there alone. This has cost him 6 of his stamina, which he is going to try to recover by resting. I can't remember if it says you can do that. I don't think you can, but I'm going to take a look anyway and find. Okay, it says that he can actually recover his stamina after a half hour of doing nothing but resting. So he is going to reanimate these skeletons, although he's not going to stay on the surface for long. It wouldn't look good with him running around with some animated dead like this. So he's going to quickly descend into the undercity. And there, as he descends with his lantern clad in chainmail and clutching his mace, he's going to rest, guarded by his skeletal wards. Now, skeletons aren't mighty creatures by any stretch of the imagination, but they'll do the job of screening and keeping things from getting to him. He's equipped with a crossbow and a mace, which do respectable damage in this game. We're going to be generating the dungeon in the same way that I was generating it when we were doing Delving Deeper. Space management in this game is more to my liking, where it's very abstract. I think it gives some examples of these squares being 5 feet, and I think it's like a 30-foot distance between each distance range. We'll get there when we get there. But we'll come up with rules for finding this our treasure trove when we are in just a moment. But for now, let's get started on the first room of our dungeon. So up here, and this is either stairs or he's climbed down here somehow, we're now in the cold, dark underbelly of I assume it's like an elven or dwarven city above. So here we go. we're using our dungeon generator, the rules of which were actually gleaned from Micro Chatbook RPG. I just made some additions of my own. Okay, so we're going to roll 2d6 for the numbers of squares in this first area. We can arrange them any way we want, and then we can roll a d3 for doors. And you know, I'm actually just going to use this black die as the door die. There are 7 squares in this room, and there looks to be 2 doors. So this first area, the way we entered does not count as a door because we more or less just kind of climbed down here. So from this entrance here, there's 2 doors. So that's going to be, let's do that. Let's just do this simply. And then this square here. And I think, since our entrance doesn't count as a door, we're going to have a door here. It'd be kind of cool to get like little markers for doors. Now, skeletons in this game have about the intelligence of a dog. So that being the case, they can't really do anything terribly complicated. I know there's some pretty smart dogs out there, but I don't think that these skeletons fit into that category. I'm pretty sure this is just average dog intelligence. So I don't think we can have them open doors. So we're going to be checking this stuff ourselves. So Morn Fenn, though, he is going to send his skeletons in first to sweep. And since they've entered this room, we're going to roll to see if there's anything in there, which I think is fair. So just like before, we're generating an encounter on a roll of a 1. And this doesn't necessarily have to be a combat encounter. In fact, I should go get my table fables because there could just be people living down here. So let's roll for our encounter. That's a 4, so there's nothing in here. And you know what? I'm going to use my oracles. And I'm going to say, is there anything interesting in here? 1, no, and it's actually a fairly dirty, dank room like one might expect. So let's move our minions to the side and let's let Morn Fenn enter the room. And he is going to pick evens, odds, evens. He's just going to walk straight forward and he's going to take a look at this door. So what's going on with this door? Is this trapped? Is it stuck? Or is it open? That's a 5. On a 5, it's unlocked. So it's a door that it's just kind of a wooden piece of crap door down here. So let's open her up and let's take a look at this next room here. Again, this is a 7 square room. Let's arrange these kind of weird. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's kind of wanted a weird room, and it looks like we once again have 2 doors, not counting the one we entered. So let's do that. That's really gross. I apologize, but I keep forgetting to do this. We don't know what's behind that door. It's just open. He's not going in though. So he's going to move aside and he's going to send this skeleton, whose name is Martin now. And Martin is going to go in here and look. Encounter? 5. No. There's no encounter. Remember, because counters are generated on a 1. Should I be using the oracles to generate encounters? No. I'm going to do it the same way we have been doing it. Is there anything interesting in this room? 3. No, but maybe we can hear something nearby. Let's take a look at our skills here. If there is a perception on here, or spot. Is it notice or spot? Navigation, spot. But there might be if we can spot it. So his spot is at a 4. Okay, so if you're wondering how rolls in Warlock works, this is a meet or beat 20 system. So you can think of it this way. If you take your skill in something, for example, his spot skill is 4, not good, and you subtract 4 from 20, that's a 16, so we have to meet or beat a 16 in order to spot this special room content. No, he didn't. That's an 11. No way. So there might be something in here to see, but he's not going to spot it. He's going to move aside, and he's going to wait for the rest of his undead entourage to show up behind him. These guys are really useful. I like having them around. Now, normally when I play solo games like this, especially if I'm only doing one character, I feel really exposed. Not the case when I have a giant group of undead just walking around behind me. Yeah, it feels a lot safer. So we're going to open one of these doors, but I'm actually going to come back in just a moment because I want to go grab my Table Fables books, just in case. Okay. Always good to have those around. Lots of fun content there. Content. Okay, so let's pick one of these doors. That's evens. That's odds. Because it would be odd for him to cross the room all the way over there. Nope, yeah. So he's just going to pick the rational door. And we're going to check to see if this is locked or unlocked or trapped. 4, what's that? It's locked. Well, it's locked. We can try and use a sleight of hand to get it open, or we can just beat it down. But beating it down would be really, really unsubtle, and I feel like that would draw unnecessary attention. We know that there's an adversary around here someplace, and we don't really want to get mixed up with them quite yet. 5 skeletons or no, it's very likely that it's another party, and they're not going solo like our boy Morn Fenn technically is. So we're going to roll our sleight of hand, which is also super bad. So we have to roll a 16. And if that fails, I don't think Morn Fenn is actually going to try and get that door open. I think he's just going to go try the other one. That's an 11 again. Yeah, he can't get that open. So instead, we're going to try this door. Please don't be locked. Worse yet, trapped. It's 5. That's unlocked. Yeah, boy. All right, we're going to put a question mark there because we don't know. Okay. Who are you? Steven. I just said that they can't open doors. I have to open the doors, but I can send them in first. Let's open that door. What do we got? What's this next room? Another 7. Man, 7 is the number today. And then there's a single door. So let's move our character sheet. Let's draw a 7 square room. Man, this undercity is just really just like winding. We're going to make this simple. The door is going to be like... It's just going to be like right here. I kind of like this like build your own room thing. I mean, I would like to go and do the Table Fables thing again. You remember when I was doing that with the Fortress City? And I was just using one of the Table Fables to build the room. That was really interesting. We had some really crazy stuff going on there, especially because my math was off, and I forgot that I didn't read that Labyrinth Lord has like a square or 5-foot square ruling instead of 10. What a mess. All right, enough reminiscing about old things that this model took place in. We're going to roll for an encounter in this room. 5, nothing. Anything interesting in here? 6, yes and. Okay, so now we're going to Table Fables. Room purpose. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. We can roll for like what goes on in a room, like what it's used for. Why haven't I been doing that ever? Man, the things we forget. Let's see. Oh, there's the tavern generator. You guys like this hot page flipping action? I know that's why you guys come to this channel. It's not the quality of the content. You want to do that? Go to Stone Axe or Geek Gamers or Artichoke Dip. He's finally back. It's good to see him. Where the heck is this thing? Just read the table of contents, Austin. Just do it. Okay. Is there a room filler? That'd be kind of cool. Dungeon interior. 61, I guess. Oh, that's literally the chart I've been using on Fortress City. Sure, room type. Whatever. Let's roll a d20 on the room type. What's in here? 11? It's a washroom? Oh, is this like a latrine? Has it been used? No. Okay, thank goodness. So it's not as bad in here. Dungeon events and encounters. That looks like a useful table. How have I forgotten this much stuff? All right, so we're in a latrine room. Gross. I forgot to send the skeletons in first. Lucky it wasn't a combat encounter. Everybody catch up. We're going to this door. Everybody catch up. That's right. You too. And Axe Guy, you can be right behind Morn Fenn. What goes on with this door here? 6. What is that? Is that unlocked? It's unlocked. We're getting really lucky with these unlocked doors. Although I'd imagine behind those locked doors that there's something good. Maybe we should... I'm sorry, I'm drinking Dr. Pepper while I'm recording. So lax. All right. So this next room here, I don't know why I put that away. Number of squares and number of doors. Oh, this is a tiny, 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 tiny room with 2 doors. So this is like a hallway. Except I'm not going to draw it like that because then I'd be going back into the books. So we're going to go like that. And the doors are going to be on either end. What the heck did I... Man, I'm on one. Door here. And a door here. Now, I think it'd be a good time to talk about our treasure trove that we're looking for. I think if we roll that there is content, there's going to be like a 1 in something chance that that's the treasure trove this guy's looking for. And an encounter has a certain chance of actually being the bad guys that want to stop us. I also mentioned earlier that I knew what spell or magical power this was going to be, and it's either going to be demonic magic from the compendium, or it's going to be the summon spell from the core rules, which can... both of those would be really sick. So, first of all, we're sending in Patrick, and Patrick is going to check to see if there's any danger in here. No, we keep rolling 5s. This is a desolate dungeon. Not if we use the... Never mind. But is there anything of interest in here? Yes, no? Yes. Yes, there is something of interest in here. Is it our treasure trove? It has to be like a yes and. Like, that's the only way. Because this is like a pile of treasure. It's 2. No. No, it's not a treasure trove. So what is it? You know... Why don't I ever use this? I'm sorry, my sinuses are giving me some trouble lately, so I'm sniffling disgustingly. Yeah. You know, I think we should roll like a non-hostile dungeon encounter, like a dungeon occurrence, just because that would be kind of interesting. Sometimes when you're doing solo stuff, you just have to pick something that's interesting. Because... you don't want to get bored of your own story. I mean, you're solo role-playing for a reason. So we're in a hallway. Perhaps D100. Warlock only uses D20s and D6s. One of those, one of those. Perfect. Perfect. Exactly what we're looking for. D100 on the dungeon encounters. Here we go. That's a 97. That's a pretty high roll. Please don't be bad. Dungeon events and encounters. 97. Here we go. A large dead creature lies in the corner. Its ribs protrude like fingers in decaying flesh, sits like sludge in the chest cavity. Clouds of rattling locusts nearly hide the gore from sight and will swarm the players if they get too close. There's a bunch of locusts down here? All right, yeah. Something ain't right. Locust is a dead creature. You know what? I am going to roll my medicine, and I'm going to see if this is long dead or if this is recently dead. These locusts may be conjured from a spell we don't know about yet, and it may have been due to combat. This may be our competitor party. You know what I'm saying? So let's see if I can tell with a medicine roll. So I have a medicine score of 8, which means I have to roll a 12 or higher to succeed. That's a 10. No. We can't really tell just because there's locusts all over the place and we don't really want to get that close. So we're not gonna. We're going to select a door at random. Actually, you know what? I'm going to send... this skeleton's going to go clear away the locusts. They literally can't do anything to him. They're bugs. He's a skeleton animated by necromancy. So he's just going to go stomp them. He's going to take however much time he needs to just kind of stomp on them and kill them. And so... we're going to select a door. Please be this one. I kind of just want to pick that one. Evens odds. Odds. Okay, he picked it anyway. Good job, Morn, Fenn. You know what we need. He's going to come over here. Is this where it all goes to crap? 2. It's trapped. Remember how I said skeletons aren't that tough? There's going to be situations we're going to have to sacrifice skeletons. Now, obviously, we can just try and cast the spell again, but if you don't know much about the Summon Dead spell, you basically have to make 2 incantation rolls. One is to actually cast the spell, and the other is to control the undead. So it is possible to summon a group of undead and then fail the second incantation roll. At which point they're actually uncontrolled undead just running around, and chances are they're going to attack you. So that's not good. So do we want to potentially sacrifice somebody to open this door? The answer might be yes. It's only a D3 damage, but they're not that tough. Again, so let's take a look at how much punishment a skeleton can really take. Now, I might also use zombie models for skeletons just to kind of represent general low-level animated dead. And that's actually something I thought should be the case for a little while now. Treeman, troll, skeleton. It has 8 stamina. That's not a lot. Maybe it can recover as well. It's also brittle, so if it's blunt damage, it will do more because skeletons are brittle. So, yeah, I think we're going to have somebody open the door. What did I say your name was? Patrick? I can't remember. Come on over here, Patrick. This is going to hurt you a lot more than it hurts any of us. It's okay. No real skeletons were harmed in the making of this adventure. So let's roll to see how much damage poor Patrick takes. He takes 1 damage. That's not bad. So Patrick is sitting at a keen 7 stamina, and he is going to trigger that trap. Mainly by ordering him to try and open the door, which we know he can't. But, fiddling around with it. Fiddling around with it kind of messed it up. Or it triggered the trap. So we will now open the door. I brought these over here. Okay. This is a 2 square room with 3 doors. I don't think so. I don't think so. Well, actually, yeah, that can work. And I'll show you how. 1 door, 2 door, 3 door. Bizarre little place. This is just kind of like, I get a feeling this is more like a subterranean shanty town. So people have just kind of taken garbage and like metal and wood and have constructed this labyrinthine structure for reasons completely unknown to us. And it's just very unsettling. Patrick, come on back here, buddy. You want to go in the room first? I know you do. Get on in there. What do we got? Now we have an encounter. This is like really weird. So what is going on in here? So I guess dungeon encounters. Oh, is this our rival faction? 5. It's a yes, but it's not a yes. Well, I didn't say it had to be a yes and. This is our rival faction. All right. So how this is going to work is we're going to generate NPCs using the micro chatbook books. The reason we're going to do that is because humans are exceedingly rare, and most of those role charts don't have humans there. So we are going to generate D6 people. Regenerate 2. So this is like 2 members of that faction. I think it says taverns in it. Oh, that's so freaking cool. We just need NPCs. Inn encounters, shop encounters. That's cool. Okay, here we go. So we're going to roll for the race and we're going to roll for the class. And then we're going to we can roll for other stuff as well. Oh, they have like personalities. That's cool. Here we go. So this is, oh man, using D4s. All right, D4, what's the class? So it's another mage, and their race. This is a gnome mage named. This is a gnome mage named Defeus. And then we've got. They are. Defeus is female. I don't know. It sounds like a dude name. So Defeus, the gnome mage, and then we have, what's the second one? A performer. There's lots of careers in there, so we're gonna we'll decide that. A dwarf performer who is, that says reroll, who is male. And then we have, what's the name? Darnell. A dwarf performer named Darnell and a gnome mage named Defeus. I'm going to write those down. All right, here we go. We have Defeus, the gnome, and Darnell, the dwarf. And we find them just like hanging out in here, and suddenly our skeleton just opens the door. They probably heard the trap go off. And the skeleton just opens the door, or walks in through the door, closely followed by, well, the rest of our giant expedition party. So I wonder what their reaction is here. I imagine they're just kind of stunned. They probably know who we are because they're acting against us or trying to beat us where we're at. Is this their whole party? 2. No. Okay, so they're actually separated, or they might be through some of these doors where we can't see. But that is something that we're going to work out next time. By next time, I hope to have these two painted. So we will have something cool to look at as we go. As we either win them to our side, not likely, or much more likely hack them to death with a bunch of rusty weapons. Okay, we'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you think of our methodology here. I was very laxed in this video. I haven't been feeling very good, but I'm excited to see what happens. This could be a long campaign. I don't want it all to be dungeon crawling. I would like some intrigue, as we decided in our roll chart there. I'm interested to see what kind of people we have to interact with. But all right, we'll see you next time.